Over 1 million cinema lovers have already subscribed to Film Companion. What are you waiting for? Hit the bell icon and join our film family.
Netflix's latest Indian original series Decoupled, a comedy about a married couple who get divorced but decide to still live together, is aiming to be a light, breezy rom-com which offers laughs and some food for thought and social commentary along the way. The only thing it really had me wondering though was, when does the funny bit start? Or why am I supposed to care about any of these characters? Or how can a show be this lifeless and dull? Or how insane was that Succession finale though? And why are movie poster launch events still a thing? And will I ever really get into K-dramas? And what's the deal with blockchain? These are all genuine, actual thoughts I had actually while watching the show, considering it's hard for your mind not to wander when you're just not invested in a series.
Who's really interested in listening to a separating couple talk about marriage?
Everyone.
The premise of Decoupled is simple. Arya, played by R. Madhavan, is India's second highest grossing fiction writer, married to his entrepreneur wife, Shruti, played by Surveen Chawla. They've decided to split up, but for the sake of their daughter, decide to carry on living in the same house and acting like everything is okay. It's not at all a bad concept, and I live for shows like this when they're done right. Those where it's just about the connection between two people. But of course that hinges entirely on the writing and dialogue, which is instrumental to having us invest in this couple and their past, present and future. The writing we get here, however, from author Manu Joseph, who's the writer and creator of the show, is unfunny, tepid and utterly lifeless. For one, you barely get a sense of Arya and Shruti's relationship and their years together and feel that connection that once was, making it very tough to care about watching them navigate a new life apart. Also, this isn't a show about two people coming out of a marriage. No, it's about two people constantly explaining their marriage to us, considering that's all they seem to bloody talk about.
Yeah.
Then why couldn't you respond?
What do you want me to do?
Actually, yes.
I'm a man. We're not evolved enough to make fake sounds.
All I'm asking you is to show me that you heard me.
You know, somehow this sounds like marriage.
There are times where the humor actually shines through with a handful of genuinely laugh out loud moments, but to wade through the everything of this show to enjoy those is an absolute slog. Let me put it this way. The best thing about Decoupled is a cheeky running gag which involves Chetan Bhagat playing a heightened version of himself as a rival author trying to sabotage Arya's career. And I think that tells you everything you need to know about what this has to offer. There's also Arya's enjoyably arrogant public rants each episode where he laments about the stupidity and hypocrisy of Indian society. It's a genuinely funny idea which works better on paper than it does on screen. But beyond its shiny rom-com surface, Decoupled is also attempting to be a quirky White Lotus-style comedic takedown of privilege and hilariously out-of-touch rich people. You can see what they were going for, and you can almost hear the wildlife documentary-style voiceover narration through the show. Here we see the stuck-up rich person in its natural habitat, raising awareness for charities everyone's already heard about. But the show's approach is so odd and the humor and observation so feeble that the commentary isn't nearly as sharp as the series hopes for. It's almost as if Decoupled is almost part of the very problem that it's trying to address. Decoupled is trying so hard to be on the right side of these issues, but in reality it reeks of an upper-class male gaze. And the result is a show with the social sensitivity of an obnoxious uncle drunk sending woke WhatsApp forwards with his foot jammed so far down his throat it needs to be surgically removed. To the extent that, despite its intentions, the show has a serious punching down problem, with a whole bunch of crass class commentary. It's not insightful, it's just insulting. Episode tracks include How Do You Tell the Driver That He Stinks, and observations like how all maids in Gurgaon are specifically chosen to be ugly, and an episode later on where a rich woman points to her maid and says, "She's a battered woman and I rescued her." My favorite was probably from the weird fat-shaming episode where at one point Arya literally says, "Thin women are all the same, but fat women are all fat in different ways." Or later on in the same episode where somebody says, "Love is blowjob without condom." Pure frickin' poetry. Decoupled is also shot like a mockumentary sitcom, except the camera seems to have a life of its own and is on its own trip entirely. Every so often, in what feels like every scene, we get one of those office-style jerk zoom-ins for reasons unknown. It adds nothing and just makes you more aware of the camera. In terms of the performances, the wonderful Surveen Chawla comes out relatively unscathed. While she's mostly wasted here, I wish we get to see more of her in other projects. Maddie, on the other hand, well, I just hope he got paid a lot for this. Decoupled is also directed by Hardik Mehta. He's a talented filmmaker who's made great indie films telling specific stories like Ahmedabad Ma Famous and Kamyab. But why he was chosen for a generic project like this, I don't understand. Similarly, the show has Vikram Aditya Motwani as an executive producer. That's a talent powerhouse name. But again, I don't see an iota of that talent here. in the end, not unlike its main character Arya, Decoupled is insufferable, stilted, and stale as one of Netflix India's worst originals yet. But humor not landing, I understand. The problem with Decoupled is it's too smug, self-righteous, and misguided to be clear where it falls on the very issues it pokes fun at. So much so that it thinks it's in on the joke without realizing that it is the joke. You can watch Decoupled on Netflix.